Hey everybody, welcome back to Muskrat Adventures. We uh we tried doing this from the river today, but it just wasn't happening because fish just weren't biting. We tried everything we had throwing at them to try to get them to entice a bite, but it just wasn't working out for us. Uh, so we decided to just go ahead and shut her down, come on home, get some rest, and I figure I'd come see you guys and chat here for a little bit. So those of you that were able to catch us live earlier today out on the Ohio River, the Muskrat is up, it is running, and she is ready. So I'm happy to report that all repairs and stuff went through successfully for now. I don't know if a boat's ever really done, but she's running good. We had her loaded down today with a 40-gallon extreme bait tank, 30 gallons of gas, bait, a cooler full of bait, a cooler full of food and drinks. Of course, my big butt on there, and I run 7 deep cycle batteries, and 4 of those are 77 pounds apiece. And Muskrat run about 36 miles an hour, give or take. That's what she ran yesterday on the lake. So I usually get up there, get her up to speed, and then back her off a little bit, try to save on that fuel. But we had a good time. You know, anytime you get out on the river, we hit it early. Fog was still rolling in, so we had a good time. But one of the things I wanted to talk about tonight, and I'm having trouble with my laptop. I cannot get it to even connect to it tonight for some reason, and so I was going to wait. But I do have Betty Cross joining us next week, and I may have a guest lined up for the week after that. So I didn't want to push this information back any farther because I've had some fun with it, and it's really good information. So if you guys are not familiar with Google Earth can change the game on how you do your homework on these lakes and rivers before you go fishing. But there is also a Google Earth Pro. And on Google Earth Pro, you can go back and change the date. Anything after 1995. So for instance, our lake here, one of their local lakes here is Paint Creek Lake. And every winter, Paint Creek Lake draws down for the winter. We also do the same thing at Deer Creek. And several other creeks and rivers. So when the rivers are low, you can go back and Google Earth Pro and change the date to, clear back to 95. And then you can go to 96 and 90. And you can continue looking at each of those maps until you find one that has either a high water level that you haven't seen before or not used to, or an extremely low water level that you have not seen or used to. And when you find those really low water levels that you haven't been able to find in the past, you'll find structure, whether that be down trees, stumps, hidden buildings, and whatnot below the surface that you've never seen, humps that show up now during low water situations. And those are the things that you could go and research at home in your spare time or at work if you can get away with it. And you could do a lot of research at the house before you ever leave and go venture out onto the water, which I know many of you already do that. But with the Google Pro, allowing you to go back and change the dates and go back year by year, you'll be surprised at what you'll be able to find. Now, one of the easiest ways to find that information is when I'm talking about rivers. So for us river guys that are...
Any idea how it compares to Navionics?
How it compares? Yeah, so Navionics is going to give you the nautical charts. It's going to give you the depths and all of that. But that is at normal pool. Okay. So if you pull up Navionics and it says that the water is 15 feet deep, but we're in high water season come spring and the river's up 20 feet, that's now 35 feet deep. All right. Now your Navionics is still going to say 15 feet. That goes the other way. If the water's down 10 feet and now that's only 5 feet deep, it'll not only that, but Navionics won't actually show you the structure per se, a sandbar, rocks. On Google Earth, you can really zoom in and tell whether those are rocks, whether that's sand, sticks. You can draw it down and you can see where the small creek channels run exactly through there without ever having to leave your house. So I think I got off on a tangent there. I'll be honest. I debated on whether to pull this up right now. I know that I ain't got a whole lot of folks in here, and I don't blame them. Chunky Cats is on when Chunky's on. We watch. Matter of fact, if I turn the camera around, he's right there. So I got him on too. So I don't blame anybody for not being here. But with the Navionics doesn't show the depths in the rivers around here. It's pretty useless in the red Mississippi and stuff. Crail, you're right. It's the same around here. For the most part, your Navionics isn't going to help you out much on the river. Most modern graphs and whatnot are able to map that as you go. So you pretty much have to go make your own map. Now, some people will upload those to Navionics, and you'll find that certain parts of your river do have readings and certain parts of the river do not. And I believe some of that is from folks that do go out and map it, and then they upload it to Navionics and share it with everyone. Now, that's personal preference. Am I going to go spend hours and hours and gallons of fuel to go map this all out and then go send it to everybody? Maybe. But yeah, James Dockery is right on it. Yep. So then also this comes in handy for the bank fishermen. Okay. So you're talking about the river being drawn down. It's very low. You can now kind of scroll those banks and see if there are rock ledges, points, things like that of interest that may give you access to a better spot than what you were used to fishing because you didn't know 50 yards down, there was a big hump in the water and it caused a scour hole or a back eddy behind it. So for those of us that use the Google Earth functions, you can go in and find all of these things before you go out. So like what I was saying with the river, it being down, you could find all these things, and then once the river comes up, where some of these structures or hot spots might be because you've done your research and you found it. Because when the river comes back up, except for large amounts of trees and brush and things like that, those will float around and get pushed around. But the Google Earth Pro is an awesome tool. It is a lot of fun to play with. Whether it's lakes or rivers, you can gather a lot of information. Now, what I was saying before on the rivers, now if you're used to looking at your rivers and you go to the dam's information, right, or whatever pool of the rivers you're fishing, it will tell you the current flow, elevation. All right. Also in that information, if you look down farther, usually there is a record high and a record low. Now, if it's after 95, now if it's before 95, it's not going to help you much, but there are significant, it's got records high and low, and it's also got other points when it was very, very close to, out of range. So you could go into that record right there and find exactly what year to go back into Google Earth Pro and search for that, whether you're looking for high water or low water. usually it's the weather org. Sometimes it's your Corps of Engineers or whatever that runs those sites. But they will usually have historical data marks on there to help you, find those points of interest more quickly. So that was really the big thing I wanted to talk about. I stumbled across this information, and I started looking at it and playing with it. And the more I did, the cooler it got. And I won't lie, I didn't come up with this on my own. Suggested videos pop up on my YouTube, and sometimes they're not catfishing. This actually came from a bass fisherman who was using this to look at lakes and things before tournaments. And he admitted that he sat down and did hours and hours of research, and he's very successful in the bass world. Well, guess what? Catfish are very structure oriented as well. They, especially a large or a flathead compared to a largemouth. Ted didn't say it last night. He led to it, but in previous episodes, Ted Ellenbecker, which was on Catfish Weekly last night, will say that the flathead catfish is actually probably more related to a largemouth bass than most of the catfish family, just because of the way his underbite is. He's made to ambush from below. He likes to hide in structure and attack. And that's really how largemouth bass operate in a nutshell. And so for the bass fishing community, how they go about finding structure and finding where they're going to go for first when they hit tournament day, it kind of works the same for the catfish. And so, but I ran across it. I thought it was cool to share. I wanted to bring it up and share it on my, share it on the screen here, which I could do, but my computer's not allowing me to even get into it right now. It's just, I've got a really bad, outdated laptop, which is why all my videos and editing is all done on my phone. So it's probably time for me to get a laptop. It's just, I spent so much money on the boat. I'm out of money for everything else. So I'm just going to fish until I can't. So has anybody got any questions on that? I know it's pretty straightforward, and some of you may have already known that. I think people knew that you could do that, but couldn't figure out why or how. And it's because you got to have Google Pro, which I believe is still a free download. So it's a little bit bigger download than what you're going to get off of the regular Google Earth, but it's well worth the space if you got it. My computer's not liking it. Not liking it. It's on there, but it does not want to run tonight. But Sonny, hey Sonny, thank you. Ted is very smart and nice guy. He really is. He is nice, very knowledgeable. He's more a biologist, I think, when it comes to the fishing world, as opposed to a fisherman. Although he obviously catches fish, but he knows the science and he knows the whys, and that's really what it comes down to. Betty has a question. Betty, what's your question? I missed the whole thing. Can you say it all over again? No. Download Google Earth Pro and go back and get historical data on the lakes and rivers that you enjoy fishing. There is tons of information out there. You just got to go look for it. Okay. I got Elstan on the screen behind me. He's gone. I don't know where he went. So I do want to say thank you guys for popping in here. I know that when Chunky's live, everyone wants to be there. So thank you very much for the 25, 26. I'm not sure how many folks are in here exactly, but I know that Avid was one of the very first. James, Mark, Fishing with the Squirrel, Ace, Quail Fishing, James Dockery, Half Crazy Fishing. Let's see, Fish with the Squirrel, D is in the house. Thank you, D, for being here. Stan Smith, Brandon Cross, and now Betty Cross, like a blister, shows up when the work's done. Huh? Stonefly 71. Hey, I see a whole lot of you, buddy. I don't know how you've been doing. Hopefully getting on the river sun. I haven't seen much from you, so hopefully all is well. Jason Lamb, thank you for joining in.
Mark, you see Mark?
I don't see. Oh, Catfish and Krabby? Oh, yeah, I see Mark. He's in there. Fishing with Papaw. I haven't got to check that one out yet. Lyle's in here. Guys, I appreciate you all being here. I won't keep this going very long. Just out of respect for Elstan, huge shout out for him. He gave me several prompts and shout outs. He felt bad for going live on the night that I would go live, and you go fishing when you can go fishing. All right, so no, but hats off for him. I really appreciate the kind words and suggesting folks over here. But I'm going to wrap it up unless anybody's got anything else.
Stonefly said rough few months. He lost both of his parents in 3.5 months.
Man, brother, I really hate to hear that. But that is tough. I couldn't even imagine. There's been a lot of bad things happening to friends of mine, people I know, friends I'm friends with, and family, and it really got me thinking a lot about all my relationships and my family. I don't have the greatest relationship with my parents and my siblings, and I won't get into that. But no matter how much there is going on in the world, we need to stop and think about how quickly it can end. Yeah, you want to push things in perspective. So, Stonefly, my thoughts and prayers are with you, brother. I hope you find peace and you get back to doing what you love. I see that you're in here, so I appreciate that a whole lot. And if you ever need anything, or if you just want somebody to go fishing with and get some stuff off your chest, or just leave everything behind, just hit me up, man. We will make it happen. You're on the Ohio River somewhere. I can't remember exactly what pools you fish, but I can get there. So on that note, guys, that's right, man. We're only here for a while. Make it worth it. Yes. That's humbling, man. It is. I try not to make my shows, too deep or too personal. But I mean, that is what it is. You never know when it's all going to come to a halt. My buddy was just in a bad accident a few weeks ago. Just him and his wife were heading to dinner, and drunk driver came across and about ended both their lives, and just like that. So thoughts or prayers with you there, brother. I appreciate it. You stopping in and checking us out. Guys, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up for me. I got a couple of videos I'm putting together right now. I got a cheap video on how to score deals at Walmart. I've been nailing the Walmart clearance racks here lately. Janice ain't real happy about it when she sees the receipt, but when she sees what it should have cost, she's okay with it. My daddy brings home about $500 worth of product for about $80, $70. She's not too mad. So on that, I'm going to shut her down. Go over, check out Chunky Cat's Fishing. Doesn't look like he's hooked into anything yet, but it's just a matter of time. And if anybody has any questions or comments, feel free to hit me up. Comments on this video, or hit me up on Facebook, Roger DeMint Jr. And until then, next week, Betty Cross. Betty, you going to be late next week? I'm just kidding. I think she had a meeting or something. She might have had to run to Walmart, get a coffee pot or something, maybe filters. So Betty will be here next week, guys, and have your questions ready. These guys the other night went out and caught 17 channel cats dragging at night, and I don't know how to do that. I don't know how many people do know how to do that. So I want her to come on here and kind of share how these guys are stacking them up and we're all going to learn something. So until next week or next time, we'll catch you guys later.